This is Travel Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, we present you with another incredible country. Today, we're looking at 15 things you didn't know about Malta. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get informed. Hello, Aluxers, and welcome back to our channel. We're so happy to have you here with us again. Today, we're talking about a beautiful and mesmerizing country, Malta. Officially known as the Republic of Malta, the island country is located in the Mediterranean Sea. The islands of Malta are flat and rocky with a coastline that consists of cliffs and bays, perfect for harboring vessels. The capital, Valletta, was recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site in 1980 for its many historical buildings dating back to the 16th century. Also, Valletta is the smallest capital in the European Union, with an area of 0.8 square meters. Even though Malta is a small country, it has a rich history. Kingdoms such as the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs, the Normans, the French, and the British wanting to conquer it. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. Whether you're fascinated by Malta's wonderful landscapes or by its magical history, our video will captivate you with some interesting facts. Here are 15 things you didn't know about Malta. Number 1. It's actually an archipelago, not a singular island. The Republic of Malta is actually an archipelago consisting of 4 big islands and other smaller ones around it. The bigger ones are Malta, Gozo, Comino, and Filfa, with the last one being uninhabited. Cominoto, Manuel Island, and St. Paul's are smaller ones, and they're all uninhabited as well. The largest island, Malta, can be called the mainland. This island is also the cultural, commercial, and administrative center of the country, with an energetic nightlife and many relaxation options. Malta doesn't have rivers or mountains and is characterized by low, flat hills with terraced fields. Malta also has a coastline with impressive harbors, bays, creeks, rocky coves, and sandy beaches. Number 2. Malta used to be the nursing place for soldiers during World War I and II. At a safe distance from the battleground, this island became a sanctuary for those harmed in the war. During World War I, Malta became the nurse of the Mediterranean, treating more than 136,000 wounded soldiers. At Gallipoli, an army of 70,000 men were sent to attack the Ottoman Empire in an attempt to make Germany divert its troops. From the battlefield of Gallipoli, Malta's first batch of patients arrived in 1915 to the hospital island to be treated. As a base for the Allied powers, Malta also played an important role in World War II, being actively bombarded by the Germans. Because they were isolated and with no way of getting supplies, Maltese doctors from the war hospitals were bound to perform medical operations with zero safety measures. Number 3. Malta is a tax haven country. Malta is part of the European Union since 2004 and switched its currency to the euro in 2008. The taxes in Malta are relatively low compared to other countries that are a part of the EU, and that makes the island country a perfect place for retirement or setting up an official residence, since you would probably afford a huge house with a pool. Recently, Malta is known as an offshore tax haven and the Panama of the EU because of its tax system that charges the lowest tax rates on profits in the EU. Local businesses pay 35% on profits, while the international ones pay 5%, which makes Malta a paradise for huge companies, but also for firms linked to the Italian or Russian mafias. Number 4. There are more than 365 churches in the Maltese Islands. The official religion of Malta is Roman Catholicism, but there is full freedom of religious belief. Over 90% of the Maltese population are Roman Catholics, but only 3/5 of them practice their faith. Malta's landscapes are full of beautiful churches and chapels that dominate the skyline and can be seen over its flat-topped hills. Usually, the wonderful churches are situated in the center of villages and can be easily found by their beautifully designed domes. In fact, the islands have so many churches that if you're visiting, you'll most likely encounter a patronal feast somewhere in the country. The number of churches rises up to 365, one for each day of the year, and the church density is about 1 church per square kilometer. Number 5. Billionaires from all over the world take citizenship in Malta. Malta has become the safe haven for billionaires from all over the world, being a home for 35 ultra-high net worth, or UHNW, individuals, and 2 billionaires. According to WealthX and Malta Sotheby's International Realty, each of those 35 UHNW individuals has a net worth of $160 million. One of those 2 billionaires that has a residence in Malta is Dennis O'Brien, an Irish businessman that owns Communicorp, a media holding company. At the moment, O'Brien's net worth has reached the huge amount of $4.4 billion. However, the other billionaire's identity is unknown. Malta is one of the 20 nations in Europe and the Americas that offers good long-term investment opportunities. Businessmen all over the world have second citizenships in Malta. Number 6. Pilatus Bank is involved in a massive corruption scandal. The chairman of Pilatus Bank, Ali Saad Hajmanejad, was arrested in the United States for money laundering and for evading U.S. sanctions on Iran. The chairman is also accused of funneling over $115 million from Venezuela to Iranian companies through U.S. and Swiss banks. Even though he has pled not guilty, his bail was refused by the U.S. court. Moreover, the Malta Bankers Association terminated Pilatus Bank's membership, and the regulators imposed a freeze on its business. As well, an employee of the bank, Maria Efimova, was arrested too, after she claimed that the bank was used to move money for Maltese politicians and for the Azerbaijan president's children. Number 7. Malta offers passports for expats. Global citizenship has become very popular amongst wealthy businessmen. The Maltese Citizenship Program enables foreign nationals to buy properties anywhere across the islands. Malta is also well known amongst businessmen who are looking for citizenship through property investment. The question that the EU is asking is if those investors are really living in Malta, or if the country and their Maltese citizenship is just a way for them to travel through Europe without issue. Russian magnates have bought properties and through them their Maltese passports for hundreds of thousands of dollars just for that reason. A lot of wealthy people have taken advantage of the citizenship and passport situation in the country. Number 8. Trump's election is linked to a Maltese professor. The link between the U.S. presidential election of Donald Trump and the Russian officials is apparently a Maltese professor named Joseph Mifsud. Allegedly, the professor told the former Trump advisor George Papadopoulos that the Russians have, quote, compromising materials about the Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Mifsud's role was discovered during the investigation of some documents related to Trump's election. Moreover, the professor has disappeared, as CNN says. They stated the professor had read some of their messages, but all their attempts to reach him have been unsuccessful. It's believed he has gone missing from the private university in Rome where he teaches. Number 9. The national language of Malta resembles more to Arabic. The Maltese language, also known as Malti, is the only Semitic language written with Latin characters. Malti is the national language and the co-official one alongside English. The language spoken in Malta is descended from Sisulo-Arabic, an Arabic language developed in Sicily. The language was influenced by the Arabs that colonized the islands between the 9th and 13th century. The name of the places and the numbers are derivative from the Arabic language. Lately, words from English and Italian languages became a part of the Maltese language as well. For foreigners that are trying to learn Malti, the most difficult to master sound is similar to the Arabic Q, the glottal stop, an almost silent sound. Number 10. The biggest wedding in Malta had 3,000 guests. The biggest wedding in Malta took place in 2017. The union between Gordon Paladano and Stephanie Wright took place at the Monte Cristo estate with the incredible number of 3,000 guests. The huge wedding had also 400 staff members that cooked, served, and ensured the wellness of those guests. The food for those 3,000 contained 2,000 oysters, 1,000 lobsters, 300 kilograms of cheese, 300 kilograms of pork and beef, and 8,500 pieces of dessert. Moreover, the meals were served with 450 bottles of wine, 300 bottles of whiskey, 140 bottles of champagne, and 350 liters of cocktails. Now that is an enormous wedding. And no wedding is complete without an expensive wedding dress. But just how expensive? If you're interested, check out our top 10 most expensive wedding dresses in the world video by clicking in the top right corner. Number 11. There's not much color in Malta. According to the Planning Authority's Development Control Design Policy Guidance and Standards, buildings in Malta can only be of natural earth colors or pastel tones, with some architectural elements in darker tones. Monochrome hues or primary colors that may contrast the facade of the buildings. The dominant colors in Malta are beige and green because of the limestone's color and the plant color. The most common construction material in Malta is limestone, the material being used ever since the ancient times. Nowadays, Maltese people have found some ways to cheat the Planning Authority's set of rules, painting their doors and balconies bright colors such as deep blue, neon green, and pink. Number 12. The Maltese cross on the flag has a strong meaning behind it. The Maltese cross was officially adopted by the Order of St. John, also known as the Knights Hospitaller, in 1126. It's an 8-pointed cross with 4 V-shaped elements united in the middle, leaving the tips of the letter-like features spread outward symmetrically. The Maltese cross has its origins in the crosses used by the Crusaders, and it's identified as the symbol of the Christian warrior. Furthermore, the 8 points of the Maltese cross signify the 8 goals of the warriors: living in truth, having faith, repenting one's sins, being humble, loving justice, being merciful, being honest and wholehearted, and enduring persecution. Number 13. The island country has 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Malta is a beautiful and full of history country, and UNESCO agrees. The country has not 1 but 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, one of them being the capital itself. Those 3 sites are the city of Valletta, the megalithic temples, and Hal Saflieni Hypogeum. As we already stated, the capital has mainly historical buildings dating back to the 16th century. Built between 3600 BC and 700 BC, the megalithic temples of Malta are amongst the earliest stone buildings in the world, and some of them were constructed 1,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids. The Hal Saflieni Hypogeum was built on a hill overlooking Valletta and was once used as a sanctuary and cemetery between 4000 BC and 2500 BC. Number 14. Malta is a location where famous movies were filmed. Movies like Murderer on the Orient Express, Assassin's Creed, World War Z, and The Da Vinci Code have been shot in Malta. The country's historical sites are popular amongst movie makers. The 17th century Fort Ricasoli is the beautiful location where Ridley Scott's Gladiator was filmed. Also, the historical fort was the place where ancient Greece was brought to life in Troy, and where the city of Alexandria was reborn in Agora. Furthermore, the legendary HBO series Game of Thrones was filmed in Malta too, the old capital of Medina appearing in the show as King's Landing. Showing Ireland's modern sides, movies like Munich and Captain Phillips transform Malta into modern-day Athens, Rome, and Cyprus. Number 15. There's only one university in the country. The origins of the University of Malta, or U of M, are as historical as the country itself, dating back to 1592 and being founded as an educational unit in 1769. Initially, the U of M was named Collegia Melitense and was located in a house in the capital of the country. The construction of the building took place between 1595 and 1597 and is now known as the Old University Building or the Valletta Campus. Nowadays, the university remains as the only one in the country and has free undergraduate courses for EU citizens. U of M is formed by 14 faculties and a library with a collection of more than 3 million volumes. Almost every department of the university has courses in English, and there are over 600 international students learning there. And that's it for today, A-Luxers. We hope you enjoyed our video and you're already looking at plane tickets for visiting this amazing country. Now, before you go, we want to ask you, what business would you start in Malta? And are you still here? Good! Of course you are. You're a true A-Luxer. And just for that, you get a bonus fact. Number 16. There are catacombs underneath the city of Medina. The city of Medina is the old capital of Malta and the place where St. Paul lived after his ship sunk in 60 AD. The catacombs, also known as the Catacombs of St. Paul, weren't hiding places or living quarters. They were meant to be cemeteries because the Roman law prohibited burials in the city. The long corridors have tombs and vaults on each side, and some of them are beautifully decorated with reliefs and frescoes. St. Paul's catacombs were in use in the 4th century and is now home to some of the most important evidence of Christianity in Malta. Thank you for spending some time with us, A-Luxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. Thank you for being an A-Luxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.